majority of my audience is 18 to 24, so this especially goes for you guys. This isn't being an asshole to people and saying, fuck you, I'm better than you. It's none of that. It's really just to take it to the next level. You need to continue to spend time with people who are taking it to the next level and the next level and the next level. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Must Become YouTube channel. My name is Spencer, and I believe that what you can become, you must become. That means if you're looking to become your best self, this channel is the place for you, especially for young men trying to improve and get better and better every single day. So I'm gonna jump right into it today. Today's just kind of a free talk, guys. This isn't too rehearsed, too planned, anything. I'm not really sure exactly what's gonna come out, but there's just kind of a general message that I wanted to share with you guys. I've kind of just realized that as time goes on and as you begin to better yourself and you start doing these practices that really do improve who you are as a person, as you start doing these things, this is kind of similar to a video I actually had before where I talked about not everyone's going to understand you. It's another part of that. It's another kind of in the same vein. Sometimes you're going to have to leave people behind. Like sometimes there are people that you really, really love, people who really love you and, you know, they're good people. But sometimes you need to realize that some people are anchors in your life and some people are sails. Some people really push you to where you need to go and some people are just holding you back. It's not always that obvious which one somebody is because you might feel like they really push you forward, but if there's somebody who themselves are not aspirational in any way, they don't have any sort of dreams like the same similar size that you do, or at least they're not pursuing a dream maybe of a smaller size but with the same kind of ferocity that you are, you can begin to notice that you become kind of like these people, right? I've spoken about this in other videos that you really do become the average of the 5 people you spend your time with, and that's not an original thing for me at all. That's totally something that's, you know, been in the self-improvement kind of atmosphere. People know this is a well understood process. I think there's something called a mirror neuronal process, which is basically where there's parts of your brain that's actually dedicated towards understanding people who are like you or people who like that you want to be, people you spend your time with, people that you idolize, this sorts of thing, so that you can actually begin to copy their behavior. And you know, it's said from an anthropological perspective, it's said that the reason why is so that, you know, if there was a leader, someone who's naturally just an inborn leader, then the tribe can begin to pick up on some of those virtues and maybe get closer and closer and closer to where this kind of leader is, something like that. Maybe that's not the case. I think I may have just heard that somewhere, so don't quote me on that. Because now that I think about it, it would obviously work in reverse too, where why would the leader not begin to mirror the others? But anyway, long story short, it's definitely the case that you become the average of the 5 people you spend your time with. And the crazy thing about climbing is sometimes you don't realize that it's happening. Like it's happening in the background and you don't realize, you know, one day that you're like, wow, I'm actually at this next place in my life. Like you might even have imposter syndrome where you feel kind of like, wow, I've accomplished certain things or I'm going certain places. I have certain titles, certain positions, certain accolades, things that you've been chasing. And then you get some of them and it kind of just happens. And, you know, sometimes you have a big accomplishment where it's like, oh, I got this trophy, I won this prize, I got this, you know, title. Sometimes it's this sort of thing, but sometimes it's just, oh, I've been doing this now for enough time where I really know what I'm talking about and my results are really showing, or I've accomplished big things that because I'm always hustling, I haven't had time to smell the roses. But one day it does come where you wake up and you realize, you know, I have changed a lot. And, you know, some of the people that you might have spent time with in the past that used to be good friends or even family members in some cases, they're just not at that same place. They're not where the place where you want to go. You know, they don't have that same, like I said earlier, that ferocity. And, you know, I think as a young man, like right now I'm 27 and I know a lot of my audience is even younger than that. The majority of my audience is 18 to 24. So this especially goes for you guys. This isn't being an asshole to people and saying, fuck you, I'm better than you. It's none of that. It's really just to take it to the next level. You need to continue to spend time with people who are taking it to the next level and the next level and the next level, because our bodies are really good at homeostasis, which basically means it's really good at trying to preserve as much energy as possible by keeping you at this kind of point, this base point, right? We want to keep a kind of a standard temperature in our body. We want to keep a certain satiation with respect to how full or hungry we are. There's lots of different things where our body wants to keep us at this kind of even keel, and we allow it to do that, to keep us at this even keel. If we spend time with people who are just mid, people who are just kind of like lukewarm, you know, you really do need to associate yourself with people who are doing crazy things. And you know, here, this is kind of where the next part comes in. And I know I'm a bit kind of just rambling in this video, but I really do want to document kind of what I'm seeing now for anyone who's in a similar position or who will be in a similar position. I think you also really need to look out for the talkers. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of people who you talk a lot, or you may talk to or have talked to in the past about your dreams, and they may talk about their dreams. It may be a group of people, maybe an individual person, like I said, family member, friend, whatever. People who talk about what they want to do, but you have to watch out for people who don't actually do it. You know, you might have a group of buddies and you say, say, hey guys, like it's gonna be so sick when we do X or when we do Y. As you continue to push and you keep climbing those next levels, you might realize that they're not doing the same. And at a certain point, to get to that even next level, you make good progress, but to get to that next one, you really do need to begin to substitute the people who are, the talkers with the doers. You need to really get those doers in there if that's someone that you want to be, if you want to be a doer. Because if you want to be a talker, then you'll spend time with people who are talking, and you can do that all day long. And there's this actual phenomenon. I'm not sure exactly what it's called. I think it might be maybe the New Year's resolution or phenomenon or something like that. It's basically this idea that if you say, I'm going to lose weight for New Year's, I can't wait, I'm going to lose 10 pounds or 15 pounds or whatever, or I'm going to build some muscle, or I'm going to hike Everest even. But basically the idea is you say, I'm going to do this for New Year's. The thing is that gives you just enough dopamine, just enough motivation that you don't actually do it. So it gives you a little taste of what it might be like to do it, but you don't end up actually doing it. And so the reason why you get stuck is because you keep talking and talking and talking, which gives you this feeling, this slight feeling of doing something. Back to the Everest example, it's like you can sit on the couch. I remember when I was younger sitting on the couch, and this is right when like YouTube videos were coming out showing virtual like hiking of Everest and shit like that. I think there's websites where you can like virtually hike up Everest. And I remember watching that and thinking, like one day I'm gonna do it. Like one day I'll hike up Everest just to say I did it. And I think a lot of people are like that, where like they think about it and it gives them just enough. Sitting on the couch when you're warm and you're having your bowl of popcorn or whatever the fuck you have, right? It gives you just enough motivation to feel good. And you're like, oh wow, because I said I'm gonna do it, it's almost like this pseudo commitment where you're not really committed, you don't actually do like the difficult thing, So you get just enough dopamine that can satisfy you. You don't end up actually doing it. And this is the same thing, this New Year's resolution or sort of hike Everest kind of mentality. This is the same thing that happens with the talkers, is they get just enough, they can imagine how they would do it, and they say how they would do it, and they talk about how they would do it, but they don't end up ever actually doing it. And you can't afford to be one of those people. And I think the most dangerous time that you can fall into that, the most dangerous time you can actually fall into being one of those people is when you actually have real life momentum. So when you're just talking, you don't really have anything to lose because you haven't started anything. You haven't gained anything. So there's not really anything to lose. But the most dangerous point, in my opinion, is when you've started to gain momentum and then you continue to really get into talking, because you start telling yourself, wow, here's where this momentum is going. It's going to this place, it's going to that place. But the thing is, you become complacent with that kind of first level or two that you've reached, and the rest of it is just filled with talking. And so you never actually get to those really, really high levels that you set out to get to, because you've watered down your actual results with pseudo results, talking, this Everest, I'm gonna hike Everest, It's almost like, if I were to try to put it into an Everest analogy, it's basically like if there's several base camps all the way up Everest, you get to that first base camp and you say to yourself, wow, it's gonna be so great when we're at the top. It's gonna be so cold. It's gonna be so memorable how, bone shakingly cold it'll be, and blah, 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 blah. And you start envisioning it and really giving it more and more life. And that can be good if you're talking about that while you're doing it. But if you're just sitting at base camp the whole time talking, then you really, really will get held back, because you're going to begin to feel like you are more accomplished than you are. And that's going to take the ferocity out of your ability to get results. It's the same thing with losing weight, being like, wow, I lost 5 pounds. This is so great. And you keep talking about it. I lost 5 pounds. And you're so excited. And while that is an accomplishment, your goal was to lose 30 or 50 or 60 or 100. And so that 5 pounds is a great start. But then if you're just sitting on the couch talking about that all the time, it does nothing. It's like those guys who want to constantly talk about how they were the high school quarterback. It's like, yo, yeah, you were the high school quarterback, but now you're 40. Like, how much motivation are you deriving from this one thing? How much like feel good juice are you getting from talking about this thing that isn't even true? You're stealing fake results from a fake reality, and it's robbing your actual reality of real results. And this is the reason why I get back to what I was saying before. I'm going to get back to what I was saying before. The reason why you do eventually leave people behind is because either they're just talkers and they're people that you've been, spending time with. Like I said, it could be a group, it could be anybody. It could be a family member, it could be anything. And you spend so much time with these talkers and they rob you of actually getting results because it feels good to talk with them. And you begin to outgrow these people, and you need to really look around at who's getting the results. And it can be hard. I think honestly that as I figured out for myself, I think part of becoming a man, and again, when I say man, I mean this idealized version of man, which I think us as men, we're so lucky to have a shared identity in. So what I'm saying is like, sorry, this is a bit of a ramble, but obviously like the idealized version of a man, what a man could be, when you read about like, Greek demigods and all this kind of stuff, these amazing feats of strength and logic and power and all these things. I think what it means to begin to step into that role and embrace that role of being a man is suffering. I think a lot of it is defined by suffering. A lot of it is defined by taking our emotionality and trying our best to push that down with our logic. The reason I bring this up is because it can be very, very hard to move past people who you might have had lots of laughs with for several weeks, months, months, years, decades, whatever, right? It can be very, very difficult. And so I think that you have to realize that if, the group that you're in is unwilling to move in the same direction you are, and when I say move, I mean action, actually move, not just talk, then you do have to recognize that to get to that next level, you will have to sacrifice and replace those people with someone who will actually move you forward. And it can actually be a mutually beneficial relationship, not just you doing work or trying to do work, and then them, again, their lukewarm temperature, bringing your temperature down to theirs. So that's really what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. I think you guys should be doing regular checks and look in on your life and ask yourself, am I actually surrounded with people who are doing the stuff that I want to do? Or at least if we're talking, is it regularly moving us to action? We can stay and talk, but is that regularly moving me to action? And you got to be honest with this stuff, because if you are seriously trying to become what you must become, right? Which I think, like I've said 100 times in this channel, I think is your obligation. If you're the kind of person that has the inclination in your mind to think, hey, I could become something great, I really could, not just a pipe dream, but I mean, I really could become someone amazing with this life that I have, then you owe it to that future self of yours that the present you right now will do everything that it can to reach the point that it has to reach. So hopefully that wasn't too confusing, guys. I know that was a bit of a ramble. On this channel, I've definitely decided that I'm going to have kind of a mix. Some are going to be my regular videos where I really have a point that I'm trying to drive home. That's a little bit, I know kind of the points I want to say, and I'm kind of just putting them out to you. The things that I wish I knew when I was younger. I say that a lot, but I think I'm going to have a lot more videos. I was DM'd recently for more kind of a, how was it put? It was almost like a flow of consciousness. Like a lot of YouTubers are beginning to do this, a sort of flow of consciousness description of their own kind of situation and give messages that really speak to their own point in life. So I think the next few videos are probably going to be like this. So anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys thought of this style. It's really just, like I've said a moment ago, flow of consciousness, what's coming to my mind based on what's happening in my life. For any of you guys who don't know, I'm currently an executive in an e-commerce company that's doing quite well. And so things are changing rapidly, and there's a lot of lessons that are coming to me that I'm very, very lucky that I have certain coaches in my life that are way more accomplished than I am at this point. But also I have a lot of amazing peers that help me kind of notice a lot of things, realize a lot of things. They teach me a lot of stuff. And also just I'm in an amazing position to observe what really happens as people seem to be really moving into their next phase in life and hitting their stride and really moving to these really high places where a lot of money is being exchanged, a lot of power is being gained, a lot of knowledge is being gained, a lot of deals are being made. And honestly, I just want to be as raw and as real with you guys as possible, because if I haven't already said this, which I think I did a moment ago, I just want to give you guys the kind of honest information that I wish I had when I was younger about coming up, about growing into yourself, and honestly about the pursuit of becoming what you must become. So anyway, guys, with that said, again, my name is Spencer from the Must Become YouTube channel. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you like any of this content. If you're just stopping by to take a look at any of the videos, then please enjoy them. Hope you get some value. And yeah, guys, just remember that sometimes there comes a point where you need to move on from people who are ultimately holding you back from becoming what you must become. It's a hard thing to do, but something we all got to figure out. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. See you in the next video.